Does it ever amaze you to look back on your life, a certain time in your life, your childhood, your teen years, and we have so many memories. And people have told me always, live in the present. And especially now, people are saying, hey, Linda, get out of the past and focus on what you have, focus on the present. But even as I'm like driving down the street, I'm thinking about the past. And then maybe I'm fearing or thinking about or concerned about the future. It's hard to live in the present. But like people say, like the present is what we have. And it's the only thing we really have, air quotes, control over, right? Um, I've been thinking a lot about life and what has happened to me, what I have been blessed with. And then I'm also looking ahead, wondering what that will look like. So I've been thinking, I lay in bed and I think about my childhood. I think about taking my lunchbox to kindergarten. I think about opening it and finding a piece of angel food cake with a love note from my mom. And I can just rest there in that memory. I can relive it. One thing that I thought about this morning, which is why I had to just come on and share what's going on in my mind, is nobody else is there with me. You know what I'm saying? When I think about something from my past, whether beautiful or bad, it's gone. And nobody else is in that memory with me. Nobody else is experiencing it with me. It's in my mind, it's in my heart. And that's the only place it exists. Maybe other people were there with me and I could talk to them and say, do you remember when we? Sure, but there's nothing you can touch. The past has dissolved. I pictured putting sugar in a pot of boiling water and it'll begin to dissolve, or the salt into water to dissolve, like when you're making pasta and you don't see it anymore, but it's there. You put it in and the flavor of the water is different. And I feel like that's what my past is. There's so many people will never understand my pain. Like in the court, they didn't even believe what I was saying, but I experienced the salt and it has dissolved in such a way that it's like blended into me and has become a part of who I am, a part of my story. And I know it happened, but you know what? I cannot go back. I cannot go back and relive a certain day and do it differently. I cannot take somebody back and point and say, do you see how angry he is at me? I can't do that because it's dissolved. It's gone. And so why do I give so much power to what happened to me? Why do I give it so much of my daily energy, which I do? Because I'm in bondage. It feels sometimes with the trauma, with the negative experiences that I've had through the divorce, and then living through the years of his lies, I get lost in that because I want to make sense of it. But if I drive down the road and I look around at the city, at the Taco Bell, about what's tangible, about what's around me, where am I going right now? How do I feel right now? And I live for today, literally being thankful in everything that surrounds me. That's the only thing that I can touch. I can't touch the future. I can't touch the past. But it's true that all of those experiences with my husband have I was trying to think of a good analogy. I couldn't come up with one, but it's dissolved into me. And I get to choose with my mind what I'm going to do with that and how I'm going to let it affect my behavior today. I wrote my first book, and it's all about short stories of raising my kids. And there was one, okay, so I made my book into rooms in the house, and I invite you to come into my house. And so in the playroom, I have little short stories of experiences with my kids, maybe playing together and issues and how we resolved it. And then there's the kitchen and baking with my kids. And then there's even the bathroom where I talk about self image. And there's the master bedroom. I talk about marriage. Hello, Wookie. And and then in the end of it, I wrote stories in the attic, and those are stories about my childhood, like little Linda. And I have a story in there about my grandparents' house, and it was one of my favorite places to go. I would knock on the door, and she had one of those doors that had the little flap where the mailman could drop the mail through, and it would drop on her floor in the hallway. And I would come to her house and I would knock and I would peek through there and she would peek through there. And it was just one of the warmest places I could go. And she couldn't have been happier to see me. I can still see her eyes looking at me. And I knew it was a place where I would always be adored. And when I'm laying in bed at night after having a nightmare and my eyes literally filled with tears, I go there and I look through the little peek hole and I see my grandma's face and her loving me. And so I didn't expect to get so emotional, but I wrote this story about what it was like going to her house and how she and Grandpa made me feel. And I'm going to read a portion of that as I put it to some video because I want you to hear, when I go into a memory and I get to relive it, it's such a blessing. We can go in our minds back to wonderful places that make us feel good. So I'm going to read that story because I think it's important and it gives you more understanding of who I am and where I came from. And as always, I'll see you on the other side. Okay. Okay, so I actually, in my book, this is funny, but I put a picture of myself as a little girl. This is just my copy, and this is little Linda, and that's who wrote this story. And it's called In the Shadows of My Memories. At the top, I wrote Psalm 112, 1 and 2. Blessed is the man who fears the Lord, who delights greatly in his commandments. His descendants will be mighty on the earth. The generation of the upright will be blessed. If I knocked at their door, there would be no answer. If I mailed a letter, they would never receive it. If I called their number, they would never answer. My grandparents' house is empty. Their kitchen is bare. The fireplace that once gave so much warmth is now cold. Yet for me, I rejoice as I hear their laughter in my children and see them peek at me through my children's eyes. At times I can smell the scents from their kitchen or hear the crackling of their fire in the shadows of my memories. The absence of their presence leaves me somehow hollow as I recall those days they filled in my childhood. How I would love to curl up on their sofa, close my eyes, and just listen to their laughter and conversations. But the only way I am able to feel their presence now is in the fullness of my memories. I long to place my baby in their arms and watch their expressions. I now see that what you make of each moment is creating the memory you very possibly may lean on in the future. These are pictures you will replay in your mind with a desire to bring those times back, to remember, to celebrate. Grandpa and Grandma will be introduced to my children through my childhood memories. They will be described to my children through the child in me. Also, the woman I've become has much to do with what they invested in me. Our God is glorified through families. He protects and builds His children through many generations. It is my prayer that one day I will have grandchildren who remember me the way I remember my grandparents. I hope they will hear my laughter in their children and will have learned by my life how to love and adore their God as they visit the shadows of their memories. So going to their house literally was my goodness, it was just my place. And yet, like I was telling you, it's not tangible anymore. I could knock on their door. I could call them on the phone. I could try to actually relive it by walking down their street. But it's dissolved. It's not there anymore. It only remains in my mind. And I get to choose what I do with that. And I choose to be thankful. Because like any bad experiences I've had, these beautiful moments have dissolved into me and made me who I am. And I want to live in thankfulness. But I can't touch the past. And even the trauma, it's done. It's dissolved. It's settled to the bottom. And it's had a huge effect on me and left me in such a betrayal trauma state that I get out, but not very often. And this little window into the world is very important to me right now. It helps me connect. But that past, I can't walk through my high school corridor and run to my friend and hug her in the morning. I can't do that. It doesn't exist anymore. But I can in my mind, and I can be thankful for it. And same with the horrible experiences that I had, like in the courtroom or being ignored by my husband. It's dissolved. And God wants me to look around and be thankful for today. You know, even in the Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. You know, it's like, this is today. This is what you've been blessed with. Don't miss it by living in the fog of yesterday. This is going to turn into your memory for tomorrow. And so we have the option to make today full of beauty by loving other people, loving the Lord, being thankful, and slowly healing from any damage that we've gone through. This is your memory for tomorrow. And we will lay in bed when we're 85, and this will be a place we can go. And so I just was really encouraged in my own mind to not stop looking around me at my son coming in the door to spend the afternoon with me, at my dog running to see me, at the sun coming down on me when I sit in the backyard. This is what I have. This is what I can touch and feel. This is what I can be thankful in. It's real right now. And to not let what has dissolved be a place that I boil in anymore, in the pain. So these are just thoughts because this is a journey and I really want to do it with you. And I hope I'm collecting people that are in this situation, and we can uplift each other. So I just want to come when I have these thoughts, and I just hope and pray that somehow they speak to you, encourage you, make you think. Be thankful for today. There's so much. And be thankful for yesterday, the pain that he caused you, and the beauty that you experienced through your life. We're to be thankful for all of it. And it really changes our heart. And then physiologically, like everything changes when your heart goes to thankfulness, because thankfulness is just so greedy. It takes up all the space. So you can't complain while you're thankful. You can't. Enjoy those beautiful pockets in your mind. Go back to them. Visit your grandparents. Spend more time in your mind going there than going back to the time like me, like when I was balled up in the closet crying. Visit the beautiful places and look around you today. Don't miss it. All right. I'm so thankful that you listened to me. I'm so glad you came, and I hope you continue to come back as we walk through these castle walls together. I'll see you next time.
Coming out of the dark, coming out of this cave. It's taken me months of days and years to find my way.